Two completely opposite moments just happened in humanoid robotics within days of each other, and the contrast reveals everything you need to know about where this technology actually stands right now. While one country demonstrated a robot smoothly opening curtains, watering plants, and interacting safely with children inside a real home without cutting scenes every 5 seconds, another country's first AI-powered humanoid collapsed flat on the floor during its official unveiling in front of a live audience. And then, right in the middle of these polar opposite demonstrations, hundreds of industrial humanoid robots started shipping to actual factories in what might be the first genuine mass deployment this entire industry has ever seen. But that's not even the wildest part, because the CEO of one major robotics company just publicly predicted another robotics company will go bankrupt within a year, triggering a social media battle that exposed how cutthroat the competition has become. Once you understand what actually happened this week, you'll realize humanoid robotics just split into two completely different timelines, and only one of them leads to robots that actually work. Everything essentially begins with what Mindon just demonstrated using the Unitree G1 humanoid robot. This platform has always been impressive on paper with its 23 degrees of freedom, depth camera systems, 3D LiDAR sensors, hybrid force position control mechanisms, and a mechanical structure engineered for dynamic movement capabilities. Industry observers already knew it could execute stable demonstrations in controlled laboratory environments. What shocked people wasn't the hardware specifications. It was how Mindon decided to train this robot and what they chose to show the world. Instead of the typical rehearsed motion sequences that most humanoids endlessly repeat for promotional cameras, they deployed the G1 into what appears to be a fully functional residential home and let it handle an entire chain of connected tasks without cutting to a different scene every few seconds. You watch this robot walk up to a window, precisely align both hands, and open curtains in a smooth, continuous motion that doesn't feel mechanical or programmed at all. Then it transitions seamlessly into checking houseplants, carefully adjusting its grip pressure so delicate leaves don't get crushed, and watering them without spilling liquid anywhere. After completing those domestic tasks, the G1 shifts into office-style activities, moving lightweight packages with enough precision to maintain balance stability while simultaneously planning optimal foot placement for each step. The textile manipulation segment is probably the most technically impressive demonstration because humanoid robots have historically struggled tremendously with handling soft, deformable materials. But in this footage, the G1 pulls bed sheets completely off a mattress, shakes them out to remove wrinkles, lays them flat with even tension, and navigates around furniture obstacles with movements that feel like part of one continuous workflow rather than disconnected, scripted actions. There's no jerky stiffness visible in the joint movements, no sudden torque spikes that would indicate control system struggles, and no hesitation between task transitions. Even when the robot physically interacts with children during the demonstration, all movements stay within predictable safety limits, which strongly suggests a sophisticated control layer specifically tuned for soft, safe interactions with vulnerable humans. Mindon still hasn't released comprehensive technical documentation about their training pipeline methodology, but based on the advanced sensory setup and the remarkably smooth transitions between completely different task categories, it appears they invested heavily in environmental generalization rather than simply memorizing isolated one-off tricks. That approach makes tremendous practical sense because real homes are fundamentally unpredictable environments, and if a robot hesitates or fails on every minor variation from its training data, it becomes completely unusable for actual consumers. What Mindon demonstrated here looks like one of the closest examples anyone has produced so far of a humanoid robot genuinely functioning inside a real living space without breaking the illusion that it naturally belongs there. This demonstration also forces the conversation toward the real-world challenges that will ultimately decide whether humanoid robots actually achieve mainstream adoption or remain expensive laboratory curiosities. Battery life needs to sustain operation long enough for complete work sessions. Reliability must hold up across hundreds or thousands of repetition cycles. The robot needs to behave predictably and safely around children, elderly people, and pets. Maintenance cycles must remain affordable for typical households or small businesses, and the price point has to land somewhere that normal consumers can financially justify. Mindon's demonstration doesn't definitively answer every single one of those critical questions, but it clearly shows a development direction where the marketing promises are finally starting to match what actual consumers need instead of what companies prefer to advertise. While that impressive demonstration was spreading across social media, Unitree dropped a completely different kind of announcement for an entirely different market segment. The G1D, their first-wheeled humanoid robot specifically designed for rapid, repetitive industrial tasks. This machine is engineered for industrial zones, warehouses, service environments, and retail spaces. Basically, anywhere companies want a robot capable of running continuously without the inherent limitations and energy inefficiency of bipedal walking locomotion. The standard version operates from a stationary position, while the flagship mobile version rides on a wheeled base using differential drive mechanisms. That mobile configuration can achieve speeds up to 1.5 meters per second, approximately 5 feet per second, making it genuinely fast enough to keep pace with real logistics workflows in active warehouses. Both versions range between 49.5 and 66 inches in height and weigh up to approximately 80 kilograms, roughly 176 pounds. The standard stationary version features 17 degrees of freedom, while the mobile version incorporates 19, not counting the end effector attachments. The arms are identical across the entire product lineup, each arm providing 7 degrees of freedom and the capability to lift approximately 3 kilograms or 6.6 pounds. The waist joint articulates along the z-axis up to 155 degrees and along the y-axis from approximately -2.5 to 135 degrees, providing strong vertical range of motion that allows reaching up to around 2 meters high. Vision systems play a critical role in what they're accomplishing with the G1D. The configuration includes a high-definition binocular camera mounted on the head unit, plus 2 additional cameras mounted directly on both wrists. This multi-camera setup enables the robot to analyze objects from multiple simultaneous angles, conduct detailed inspections, and execute repetitive manual tasks without drifting off target over time. The end effectors are completely interchangeable, offering options including 2-finger grippers, 3-finger manipulators with or without integrated touch sensors, and a sophisticated 5-finger dexterous hand, allowing the robot to switch seamlessly between heavy industrial tasks and more delicate precision actions. The flagship model also incorporates an NVIDIA Jetson Orin NX processor delivering around 100 terascale operations per second of AI computational capacity, which provides plenty of processing power for onboard real-time decision-making without cloud connectivity dependencies. Battery life extends up to 6 hours of autonomous operation, providing sufficient uptime for complete work shifts in warehouses requiring fast cycle times. Unitree also released a comprehensive software platform alongside the hardware. It handles data collection, annotation, task management, simulation environments, distributed training workflows, and deployment pipelines. Trained models can be exported directly into the robot with minimal additional integration work required. This represents part of a broader strategic vision where they want the G1D to function not just as a task execution tool, but also as a data generation platform for companies wanting to develop new AI pipelines around real-world performance metrics. Now, while China was showcasing polished demonstrations and announcing industrial rollouts, Russia somehow managed to deliver the exact opposite energy. Their first humanoid robot with artificial intelligence capabilities, called AI Idol, collapsed straight to the floor during its official debut presentation in Moscow. This incident occurred on November 10th, while staff members were carefully guiding it onto the stage, accompanied by the Rocky film soundtrack. The robot lost balance completely, collapsed hard, and even left mechanical pieces scattered on the floor. Immediately after the fall, panicked staff members rushed to cover it behind a screen while frantically dragging it off stage. Video footage of the entire embarrassing incident spread rapidly across Russian tech forums and social media platforms, transforming what should have been a triumphant unveiling into a spectacle for all the wrong reasons. AI Idol was supposed to represent Russia's serious attempt to enter the global humanoid robot competition using predominantly domestic components and technology. The developers claim it integrates movement capabilities, object manipulation, and human-like interaction using embodied artificial intelligence systems. According to the company's statement, the catastrophic fall was caused by calibration issues, and the robot remains in early testing phases. They stated the machine operates on a 48-volt battery, providing up to 6 hours of operation, and that approximately 77% of its components are Russian-made, with ambitious plans to increase that percentage to 93%. They also emphasized its 19 servo motors and the capability to display more than a dozen basic emotions along with hundreds of micro-expressions, all supported by specialized silicone skin engineered to mimic human facial movements. During the presentation, CEO Vladimir Vytukin stated the robot can smile, think, and appear surprised, similar to an actual person. But after the spectacular public failure, critics focused almost exclusively on its fundamental instability and the questionable decision to unveil something so obviously unfinished at a major public event. Right after this somewhat chaotic moment from Russia, China delivered another significant milestone, this time from UBTech. The company officially confirmed that hundreds of Walker S2 humanoid robots have been shipped to actual operational industrial facilities. This represents one of the first genuine moments where mass deployment of humanoid robots looks like an actual reality instead of a marketing presentation slide. UBTech stated production scaled up dramatically in mid-November, and the first substantial batch already reached their commercial partners. Demand during this year alone reached approximately $113 million. Orders came primarily from companies seeking stable, nonstop labor for their assembly line operations. Some of the major confirmed deals include a roughly $35.3 million order from a prominent Chinese manufacturing firm in September, another $22.45 million agreement in Sichuan province, a $17.8 million project in Guangxi, and over $14.1 million from Medea in Hubei. UBTech expects to deliver around 500 Walker S2 units by the end of December and claims they're proceeding exactly on schedule. Automotive manufacturers appear to be driving this demand surge more aggressively than any other industry sector. BYD, Geely Auto, SAIC Volkswagen, Dongfeng, Luzhou Motor, and even Foxconn are actively adding these robots to support logistics operations and enable true non-stop production cycles. Early deployment tests show strong performance in both factory assembly environments and warehouse logistics operations. One of the standout engineering features of the Walker S2 is its autonomous battery swapping system. The robot can independently remove and replace its own power pack within minutes, without requiring any human assistance whatsoever. This single technological upgrade eliminates downtime almost completely, making it exponentially more practical for extended industrial shifts. The Walker S2 stands tall, features sturdy construction, and is designed to handle heavy objects while simultaneously maintaining precise finger control for delicate manipulation tasks. UBTech reports that humanoid robots now represent approximately 30% of their total sales, up dramatically from just 10% last year, which they interpret as clear evidence that demand is originating from genuine real-world operational needs instead of speculative hype. Financial results clearly reflect all this momentum. In the first half of 2025, UBTech generated around $87.7 million in revenue, representing a 27.5% increase from the previous year. Gross profit reached approximately $30.6 million, up 17.3%, and operating losses narrowed by roughly $62.1 million. Their stock price climbed more than 150% this year to 133 Hong Kong dollars, and analysts at Citi and JP Morgan both currently list the stock as a buy, with expectations it could climb past 170 Hong Kong dollars. Even with this large-scale rollout actively happening, a significant wave of skepticism hit the robotics community when Brett Adcock, the CEO of Figure AI, commented on a video allegedly showing UBTech delivering hundreds of robots. He strongly hinted that some of the robots appeared fake, pointing out visual inconsistencies and raising questions about whether these units were actually operational or merely staged for promotional purposes. This connects to a broader ongoing conversation in robotics where companies release highly polished videos, but the actual real-world performance sometimes doesn't match the carefully edited footage. Adcock has been consistently vocal about the substantial challenges of developing true general-purpose robotics and about the massive gap between marketing videos and actual functional deployments. That entire situation spilled directly into a heated public feud between Adcock and Agility Robotics, after Adcock posted that a figure humanoid had been working on BMW's production line for 5 consecutive months straight. Agility Robotics responded with a sarcastic comment comparing his claim to someone saying they invented lemon water. Adcock fired back aggressively by predicting Agility Robotics would be bankrupt in under a year. The argument spread rapidly across social media, with other industry figures jumping into the conflict. A vice president from One X Robotics commented that kindness and professionalism matter more than aggressive posturing. Agility Robotics responded again with a Ted Lasso animated GIF and a message saying they'll check back next November to see who was right. They also added that despite the public drama, they genuinely appreciate the work of all teams pushing the field forward. Adcock ended the exchange with a Sopranos television show meme captioned with a threatening quote. "It's a bizarre moment for a supposedly professional industry, but it clearly demonstrates how intensely competitive this space has become as billions of dollars in investment and the entire future of general-purpose robotics hang in the balance." That's it for today, folks. See you in the next video.